Hello and welcome back to Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon. I'm your host Imperialis, and we are at our final training scenario, which is to capture 5 victory hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, it did come up and say we have new units available for purchase, so let's take a look at that. We can now get some more. We can get a mortar for our Steel Legion, or we can get Steel Legion conscripts. I don't see much of a point to these guys. They are inferior overall to regular Steel Legion. There are more of them in a squad, which is kind of useful, I guess, but terrible initiative, terrible armor, armed with a las gun. They're basically weak infantry, and I mean the Steel Legion infantry is nothing to write home about themselves, so ignore them. The mortars, on the other hand, are kind of neat. They have the indirect fire, minimum range of 2, max of 3, but they sort of, well, shot for shot, they're not quite as good as the heavy bolter, firing fewer shots and that sort of stuff. But they do have the indirect fire. I'm not going to use them right now, though. What I am, however, excited about. Oh no, never mind. You don't get it in this mission. Still stuck with the Griffin. Can get a bombard, which is a bit more useful. It's got a significantly longer range. It's a tank buster mostly. Not terribly useful against infantry. But I'll pick... Let's see, what else do we have for tanks? Okay. Vehicles. We now have the Salamander Command Vehicle, which is similar to the Scout, as you'd probably expect, except can't see quite as far. Gets the leadership ability, and that's really the only difference for an extra 300 points. So I'm just going to stick with my Scouts for now. Walkers. I could upgrade my Sentinel to the Armageddon pattern. That might not be a... Oh, I already have an Armageddon pattern. Okay. The Armageddon pattern Sentinel is just a more heavily armored version of the regular Sentinel. It has slightly higher armor, slightly higher initiative. Other than that, pretty much identical. But yeah, for my purchase, I'm gonna go for the Bombard. Now I can also upgrade these tanks, because right now they're just regular Lehman Russes upgraded with sponson mounted heavy bolters. So let's take a look at our options here. We could get the Lehman Russ Annihilator, which is a pretty good little tank busting tank. It has 3 las cannons total and the 2 heavy bolters. The Conqueror is... Looking at this, I don't know why you would get a Conqueror over a regular Lehman Russ. Guess it's got slightly better armor penetration. And a Storm Bolter. But the Storm Bolter is weaker than the heavy bolters. So we won't be getting the Conqueror. The Punisher is an anti-infantry tank, which is pretty badass at tearing through infantry. This Punisher cannon only does 40 damage, but it fires a just hellacious number of shots. And so for chewing up infantry, it's a wonderful toy. And then the weapon upgrade 1, you get a plasma cannon instead of the heavy bolter. And the plasma cannon is superior kind of all around to the heavy bolters. You lose 1 shot, but you gain a lot more attack strength and some armor penetration. But it is quite short-ranged is the only downside. You kind of got to get up in their face. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade one to the Annihilator for those las cannons. And I'm going to upgrade my second one to a... I'm going to give it the weapon upgrade rather than going for the Punisher. I've got a fair bit of other sort of anti-infantry units. Leave the Griffin as is. I've got my Bombard. I've got a whole schwack of infantry. I suppose one other thing I should mention is I plan on doing this. I plan on continuing to use infantry and stuff like that because they, like, lore-wise, I mean, I should have a ton of infantry. I'm the Imperial freaking Guard. That's what they do. And if I were to truly optimize, I'd be going for all tanks and stuff like that, but it just, I don't know, it doesn't make much sense to me from a lore standpoint. So I'm always going to try and maintain a core force of infantry, just for the purposes of, I don't know, I guess handicapping myself to a degree. That said, though, I am going to get rid of one of my units of infantry here, and I am going to pick up another tank, and this time I will get the Punisher. But now, deployment. So, let's start. Deploy some flamers right forward here, because I suspect that that's going to be inhabited. Get a salamander right there. Oh no, don't want him there. Because again, assuming this is inhabited, I want him up there so that if they have range 2, he'll be out of range of them and he can plunk away at them with his autocannon. I'm going to put my Punisher right there. Again, same logic, right near where I suspect there's going to be some infantry. I will put him back here. Pop him up there. Leman Russ. Second Salamander. More infantry. Put a command squad up in there. Heavy bolters up in there. And Sentinel down there. And that should do it. Okay, so we have las cannons. Fantastic. But, like I guessed, we do have Hive Militia with auto pistols. So let's do some damage to them. And now you're going to see that Punisher in action. Finish him off with that. Now, he has a range of 5, so... Move him down there just to clear up the space for... Oh, that's my Griffin. Oops. Okay, so what we'll do instead here, I'm going to get him out of range, and then I'm going to take a shot at one of these guys with him. So that hurt him. No cover there, I can move him into this crater. That sounds like a plan. Take him out. Take them out. Take them out. Good. So far, so good. Heavy bolters there, and some more hive militia. Fair enough. Oh. Tank destroyer. Well, sentinels for tank destroyers is a fair trade. But I'd still rather get in close. Oh, took them both out. Only lost one sentinel in the process. That's a reason to trade. Okay, I think that's it for this turn. Okay, Taros Venator. It's got a pair of las cannons. Okay, so I need to move my Griffin up into this trench here, or into this crater to get it in range of that heavy bolter. Or bombard, sorry, I keep calling it a Griffin. You, however, go and put some hurt on those guys. Terrible trade on that. Good trade on that. So these guys have a chimera, so I'm going to use them to capture the point. Advance them up into cover. Just advance them slightly. That worked. Now these guys have las guns as well, so what I'm going to do with them, move them down there, try and soften them up a bit more. He still has an attack, so we'll move him around. Oh, we got another Taros down there. That one's got the flamethrower. That's really a suboptimal spot for him. I'm going to move him there because he's probably going to be relatively safe. Put some damage on those guys. Bit of a waste using the Annihilator on militia like that, but he didn't really have any other targets, and may as well make use of him. You're the weapon upgrade, Lehman Russ, so... finish off that Taros. And ooh, that hurt. Ouch. You just barbecued my command squad. So that's a Hellhound. It's got a big flamethrower, and somehow was able to shoot past my Annihilator here to do a whole schwack of damage to my command squad. Okay. Inferno Cannon has a range of 2. So let's bring you around this way. Do 1 point of damage. If I move him here, he doesn't have line of sight. Okay. Plunk him a bit. You are going to get replacements. Finish him off. Don't like that Hellhound still being alive. Actually, I can finish him off with my... Okay, I can almost finish him off with my Sentinels. Can finish him off with the Heavy Bolters. Okay. And now you... finish off those scrubs. I think that's pretty much everybody. Advance the Sentinel up a bit to get some more line of sight. And advance the Griffin a bit. Advance more infantry and finish them off. Not quite. Close. They're no longer a threat. I mean, one of them isn't going to accomplish anything. Oh. May as well capture the point with my flamethrowers. So now if I advance into here... the problem with this level is there's so many rivers going back and forth across that I end up... Okay. Well, advance him, it's going to waste a turn for him, but... Don't like those odds right now, at least. Oh, those guys have auto guns. Never mind, I don't want... I thought they had auto pistols again. They, however, could go in there, plunk away with their heavy bolters. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need to be where this Lehman Russ Annihilator is. Let's get the Annihilator out of the way. That was effective. Finish them off. gonna have to deal with that friggin' Earthshaker too. That's gonna be problematic. Mind you, minimum range of 3. 1, 2, 3. So my Annihilator might get hit. Ouch. That didn't do much. Ow. Poor command squad of mine, just getting smacked around. But I mean, hey, that's what Imperial Guard infantry's there to do. Die for the Emperor. So now, get him within 2 hexes of that, because then he'll be able to bring his plasma cannon to bear. Wipe him out. Well, that was less effective than I expected it would be. Gonna bring the Salamander around to take out that Earthshaker, hopefully. I'm surprised that didn't fire. I think that might actually be a bug. Oh, good. Infantry with lasguns shooting up walls apparently is very effective against Earthshakers. Okay. Captured 4 of the 5. Oh, hello. Mega Bolter, Heavy Stowers. So this is sort of a weird in-betweeny tank between Leman Russes and the Bane Blades. This one is geared up very much for anti-infantry, so that suggests artillery is the solution. Totally ineffective, but only target option he had. You've already fired. Shred some of those infantry. Even though you've fired, still gonna move you up. Well, that was heroic, albeit ineffective. Okay, let's finish off this super heavy here, or this heavy tank. Now it's just a matter of mopping up infantry. Oh, there's another Earth Shaker. Command company, go. Flamethrowers, you're not doing too much right now. Okay. More Earthshakers, and he's in range of that one. That might be interesting next turn. Needs to be within 5. Well, advance him a little bit. Ow. That stung. There, I think this scenario is pretty much won. Finish that off. May as well get him some experience. Orcs spotted. High security forces deployed to block their advance. Oh, look, lovely, orcs. Okay. So I guess training's over. I have actually played through all of these already, and I know that the scenario ends as soon as I go on to here. But you can see we got some Sluggaboys down here and a Grot tank. And then there's some more Steel Legion guys that I don't control. But for the purposes of this, we'll just finish off the scenario. And end our turn. Orcs take their turn here too, you can check them out. So, another victory! So, let's proceed.
I don't know what is happening. The comms are going crazy. Bear with me, Commander. If only I could pray. Never mind. I have 2 urgent order stacks coming through on the box. They are both code cyans, so as the ranking officer, you need to decide which assignment to accept. Governor von Straub is demanding all Steel Legion battalions to attack. This is a chance to strike back at the Greenskins early. Your force could be one of the first to engage in a meaningful offensive. However, as you'll have gathered, Voxnets are busy and ineffectual, making it all but impossible to coordinate such a large-scale counter. I know it is not my place to say, but the Governor's order, while valiant, seems a little rash. The alternative requires you remaining at Hive Deathmire. As you know too well, the Greenskins have been probing the area, and yet they are not following through to attack the Hive. This is very irregular behavior, not typical of the Orcs. Regimental Command wants your battalion to investigate, as you are familiar with the area. There may be no immediate glory in this mission, but if the Greenskins are up to something anomalous, we need to know. Choose your mission, Commander.
Okay, so this is our first opportunity to kind of do the branching storyline. We've got two separate missions here, either counterattack or investigate Hive Deathmire. I'm going to go with the counterattack, I think. Like I said, I have been playing this off camera as well, and the counterattack mission, and more particularly the mission after that, is quite entertaining. So we'll go with counterattack.
Brave warriors of the Steel Legion, I speak to you directly. Do not fear, I have not been slain by the Xenos scum, as some of you feared when I could not be found on Armageddon Prime. I have simply relocated to Tartarus Hive on Secundus. This Hive city has a vastly more strategic location, and so it's a perfect base to better coordinate our troops. But I see no reason to wait. The Orc menace is small, yes. They may have taken us by surprise, but now is the time to counter-attack and wrest control of Prime back to me. Well, us. Attack, I say! Attack!
So, pretty straightforward.
It is a relief to be assigned as your communications adjunct, Commander. My faith has been tested of late with the death of my family in the initial Orc airstrike, even as they celebrated the day of the Emperor's ascension. So I need some stability. Anyway, I have received orders. You have a very specific role in the coming attack. Your battalion is being sent to an area close to Hive Volcanus. Capture the Orc chieftain commanding the Xenos mobs there. We may be able to learn something of the greater Orc plan, if you can take the creature alive.
Okay, so scenario objective: locate Orc Warboss. Move at least 4 Steel Legion units adjacent to the Warboss, and do not destroy the Orc Warboss unit. So, once again, as usual, I'm going to put a cut in here, and we will see you again in the next episode as we start up our first proper campaign. Until then, cheers.